What is the worst mistake humanity has made? Many were increasingly of the opinion that they'd all made a big mistake in coming down from the trees in the first place. And some said that even the trees had been a bad move, and that no one should ever have left the oceans. Douglas Adams. In the beginning the universe was created. This has made a lot of people very angry and been widely regarded as a bad move. Douglas Adams. I farted and I'm very sorry for the odor. Douglas Adams. The proliferation of plastic in everything, everywhere. Plastic is not in itself the devil. It was a wonderful discovery/invention. It's the overuse of disposable, unrecyclable plastic that is the problem. That's like saying speeding doesn't kill, stopping quickly does. Plastic, with its convenience and versatility, by nature creates the problem of mass consumption. Reusable utensils and straws, for example, are less convenient because they must be cleaned. If what humans desired was something reusable, we'd have just made them from wood or aluminum, steel, even. Most of us have access to these options but don't use them, preferring something convenient and easy. If it's convenient and easy, don't have to clean, then it better be cheap, which plastic is. Social media broke the social mechanism of shame as a means of suppressing extreme/stupid ideas. You could also say that social media perverted the mechanics of shame to unduly force extreme and stupid ideas upon people. But yes, social media should have never been invented. I agree with this. It's like shame has been weaponized against the more modest people who don't deserve it into pressuring them into the bizarre trends we see. 2 generations ago, eating paint chips was an insult, today it's a challenge. Generally believing that sacrificing where we live for material wealth is a good trade. Facts, greed is literally ruining our earth. The worst part is it's all pretend. Money has no value than what society pretends. If there was money in saving the planet, we'd be all over it. But when saving the planet and cleaning up our mess gets in the way of making more money, we pick money over our one home. So fucking stupid. And we're supposedly the smartest creature to walk the planet. Well, it means little when we lack common sense. Rejecting nuclear power. This is the correct answer. A good deal of our outlook with climate change is a direct result of Chernobyl and the subsequent fear of nuclear power continuing our reliance on fossil fuel for power generation. Arguably in the US, it wasn't Chernobyl but actually the unmitigated PR nightmare that was 3 Mile Island. No one was hurt, nothing bad really happened, but the PR fallout was so bad it basically torpedoed the nuclear energy future of the US. Or at least that's how I understand it, could be wrong. If you know more about it than I do, feel free to correct me, smiley face. TMI was a PR catastrophe and indirectly led to millions of deaths due to stress and coal replacing nuclear. Granting corporations the protections of personhood without the responsibilities. This is certainly the worst mistake the United States has ever made. I don't know, man. We also gave the world Jimmy Dean pancake wrapped sausage on a stick. Seems like things may balance out. Thinking we exist in some sort of separate space outside the animal kingdom. And the other aspects of the living, natural world that we exist in. We are nature. I actually think we don't do this enough. If we could accept that we have to live separately and leave space for nature, that would be one thing. The reality is we coexist everywhere, and it means the death of nature wherever it is more convenient. The idea that we can coexist peacefully with nature while maintaining 21st century living standards is a sad farce, though. Thinking we will survive without the natural world. Less this, and more so believing that we are somehow exempt from or above the natural world. The Nissan Juke. Whoa there, buddy. This was friendly, light-hearted sub until you brought out the big guns. You notice how everyone else politely skirted around this topic. Certain things should go unsaid. The cross cabriolet. Social media, the worst invention since the nuclear bomb. Creates an echo chamber of hate, lies and narcissism that feeds upon itself and encourages the very worst human behavior on an endless loop. Social media gave liars, conspiracy theorists, and crazy people a way to broadcast their crazy across the whole planet. In the past, these people would be standing on street corners, handing out flyers, or, in the US, on talk radio, if they were apex troublemakers like Rush Limbaugh. The bottom line, though, is that they didn't infect millions with their crazy. Crazy is very easy to listen to, very easy to fall into believing. That's what makes it dangerous, and social media gave the crazy a path into everyone's brains. I strongly believe that, for all its good intentions, social media is the meteor we never saw coming. This is exactly what I've been saying. Problem is, not many people pay attention to me on my small wooden box on the corner of the street. I think a certain painter in history should have been accepted to a certain art school. I can think of one that would have changed the entire 20th century if he'd ended up a starving artist. W got to paint a lot after he left office. Endless growth for some people. Our modern world and culture supports and encourage endless growth, but we have limited resources. But there is not limit for rich and people at the top. They continuously exploit the planet rescues for their wealth. Growth for the sake of growth is the ideology of the cancer cell. Ecological philosopher Edward Abbey. Allowing the rich to make decisions for us all. Allowing old, rich, senile people making all the decisions. They make decisions for themselves, we just suffer the consequences. Removing Pluto from the planet list, a planet with vendetta, is no joke. Also selling other humans as property, it is still going on. We should just incentivize Pluto. If they get rid of human trafficking, they can become a planet again. Win for everyone. Letting global warming get as bad as it has. It's unfortunate people still believe it's false. Climate change and global warming have been heavily affected by humans. We've essentially sent ourselves into a course for prematurely ending the world. The world won't end. But we will. Well, I meant like inhabitable for a lot of life forms. Some are able to handle extreme temperatures and such. Though without many options of food, they may too die out. And deforestation making runoff worse and worse, poisoning the waters. We really have done a lot to such an amazing planet. Corporations. Having an entity that exists entirely to attempt to endlessly produce profit at the expense of people, rules, the planet, etc. More specifically, public corporations, or the entire concept of the stock market. Really, the whole idea behind it is like a big pyramid scheme. That it's a miracle that it somehow manages to stay together at all, really, but it also fuels a lot of corruption. Switching from a nomadic hunter-gatherer lifestyle to a sedentary agricultural society. Our hunter-gatherer ancestors are believed to have actually worked for just 4 hours a day on average, were in peak physical condition, and maintained stable population levels. The development of agriculture brought disease, endless backbreaking labor, political tyranny, overpopulation, environmental degradation, and the subjugation of women. But what was the average lifespan? Without becoming an agricultural sedentary society, there wouldn't be any such things as hospitals. Even 200 years ago, people were dying at the age of 35 due to teeth infections, etc. Nomadic tribes were wiped out by more civilized ones, and by civilized I mean they had a base of operations rather than roaming around with no place to call home. I firmly believe deforestation and other anti-conservation moves have permanently eliminated natural resources that could have been incredibly beneficial, possibly curing many diseases. Examples we did find. Quinine, an aid in the cure of malaria, is an alkaloid extracted from the bark of the cinchona tree found in Latin America and Africa. The otherwise deadly poisonous bark of various curare lianas contains the alkaloid dieterbocuarine, which is used to treat such diseases as multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, and other muscular disorders. And there are hundreds more. How many thousands more have we eliminated? This is why natural conservancy is so important.